This is truly magical, a netizen claimed to have slain a dragon. Although it was in a dream, the dream was continuous, with a beginning and an end, filled with details and a causal process. It could start a blockbuster movie. Today's share comes from the coolest little dog shrimp of netizens. In mid-March of this year, A-Gou, who is 24 years old, just graduated from graduate school. At that time, he was on a business trip, and after a busy day, he lay down and fell asleep. He dreamt that he was sitting at the entrance of a village. 4 people came to find him, 2 men and 2 women, men in their 30s and women in their 20s, all very beautiful and dressed in ancient costumes. Upon reaching A-Gou, the leading man spoke, saying, "You are finally here, we have been waiting for you for a long time, we don't have much time, this time you go with us." A-Gou was taken aback, just about to refuse when he woke up. It was already the next morning, and he didn't take it seriously. After a busy day, the same dream occurred at night. This dream continued for 5 days. You say it's much, doing it for 5 days is not normal. Just then, the work in the foreign place ended, and A-Gou went home and told his family about this. His mother was very surprised, and A-Gou went to see an old local man. After listening, the old man performed a simple operation, sighed, looked at A-Gou and told his mother that this would happen sooner or later. "Do you have to delay?" A-Gou was very confused, looking at his mother, who was very anxious, waved his hand to the old man and said, "No, my son just graduated and just started working, it's impossible to do such a thing, can't we talk about it? You can't find my son." At this time, A-Gou became even more confused. Then the old man looked at A-Gou and asked him, "Do you want to do something with them, or do you want to go with them to see what to do?" A-Gou said, "I don't want to, but so many days in a row, it's okay for him to help himself." The old man shook his head and said, "You can't help now. You have refused for 5 consecutive days. They don't have time. If they have fate, they will come to you next time." A-Gou was confused when he heard this, and asked the old man when to call fate. Let's talk about the old man. When A-Gou dreamed of them, he was very curious, but the old man let them leave first. Then he asked his mother, and his mother didn't say anything. In the following few months, he didn't dream, and A-Gou would forget about it. Until July 20th, he dreamt of those 4 people again, still the previous scene, that village. Only this time, A-Gou accepted in his heart and was ready to go with them. Out of curiosity, the leader was the same as before in the dream, and asked A-Gou if you are ready. A-Gou nodded and said, "I am ready, you have found me so many times, I am sorry for not helping you." Then, the leader laughed and said, "You are ready, we will come again at this time tomorrow." Then, A-Gou woke up from reality. The next night, in this dream, these 4 people each wore a pair of shackles, very large and thick, which ordinary people could not move. A-Gou asked, "Why take these things?" The leading man said, "Today we are going to take you to catch something." "What thing?" Where the man didn't speak, another woman took over the phone. "Brother, so many days, today to enlighten you, do you feel any different? Such as the smell?" As soon as the woman finished speaking, A-Gou sniffed and tried. A strong fishy smell came, like a pile of fish mixed with blood, a very heavy mix of fish and blood. The leading man in golden clothes, and another man in white clothes spoke. This woman in red clothes, and another woman in green clothes. A-Gou asked this woman in red, "Why is it so new, what are you going to catch at this time?" The woman in green spoke, "Look at the sky." A-Gou looked up, a dragon, a black dragon hovering in the sky. The whole person was confused. We are not uncommon in dragon novels and movies, but at this moment it was very clear. Although it was in a dream, those who can imagine the shock, seeing A-Gou not speaking, the leading man in golden clothes spoke. Why did they say they wanted to help us before now they are afraid? A-Gou said not afraid, actually afraid to die. Well, after speaking, the leading man in golden clothes said then let's go. Time is running out, A-Gou subconsciously asked, when none of these people spoke, but A-Gou and they just walked out of the house a few steps, and several people looked back at him together. The leader asked again, are you really ready? At that time, A-Gou had not yet stepped out of the yard, but only one step away. He hesitated and said ready, then took that step. Taking that step, just stepping out of the yard, his dream woke up again. On the third night, the dream continued, 5 people hiding on a grassland, with a large, tall, and abrupt mountain in front. A-Gou walked with them and asked where are we going? They pointed to the mountain in front, go to that mountain. Then, I don't know how long it took, because there is no concept in the dream. A group of people finally arrived at the foot of the mountain, and the closer look at this mountain is even more exaggerated, or that kind of oblique inserted on the ground. Arriving at this place, the 4 people looked at A-Gou to take the lead. Jin was still speaking, after a while we will catch him, but we have no choice, if we don't succeed this time, we will have no chance. He has a strong desire for revenge. A-Gou looked silly and looked at these 4 people. What can I do? The man in white spoke, you don't need to do anything, you just watch here, after a while we will catch him and send you up. The only thing you have to do is to behead the dragon. Remember, this animal has already had a climate. If it fails, we will disappear and you will be affected. After speaking in white, the 4 people flew into the clouds together. The sky was cloudy, and nothing could be seen, but A-Gou heard a very low voice, between the cow and the bird. I know it's hard to imagine, but when you hear this voice, your first reaction is like this. Well, I don't know how long it took, A-Gou woke up. On the 4th night, A-Gou was still standing at the foot of the mountain, feeling that he had something in his hand. Looking down, it was a knife, similar to a meow knife. Just as he was wondering, there was a muffled sound, and the black dragon was locked by the 4 of them with the previous shackles, falling from the sky. At this time, it looked more real. The black dragon should be 20 or 30 meters long, with 4 claws. The 4 of them each locked a claw. The water dragon head was very close to A-Gou, with deer's feet, cow's nose and eyes were also very large, and the most uncomfortable dying was the fishy smell, the closer. Just about to speak, the 4 people took out something similar to a nail and stabbed it into the black dragon's claws, nailing it to the ground. The black dragon had no reaction and looked very painful, with red blood flowing from the claws, and then unwilling to lie on the ground staring at A-Gou, and the 4 people looked relieved and came to A-Gou. A-Gou looked at the knife, then looked at the 4 people and said, should I start now? After hearing A-Gou's words, the 4 people were stunned and asked, are you really not afraid? That's a dragon, many people have been worshipping for a lifetime, and even looking forward to seeing him. Do you really dare to? A-Gou was very sure, I dare, I promised you, I dare. After speaking, the 4 people laughed. He said it's okay, but the time hasn't come yet, and A-Gou woke up. This time, it was more like being driven away. On the 5th night, the last day, in the dream, A-Gou stood on the cloud before, saw the mountain, and now saw the whole picture. To be precise, this is not a mountain, but a chatback mountain specially made for the dragon. There are 5 holes on it. The 4 of them have already pressed the dragon on the mountain. The water dragon head and claws are exposed from the holes. The man in golden clothes told A-Gou that the time is about to come. Are you ready? A-Gou didn't speak. Because it's easy to say, but when you really encounter something you want to do, you don't know what to do. Then, standing on the cloud, A-Gou began to fall involuntarily, getting closer and closer to the leader. The four of them also fulfilled their duties, each locking a claw. Just as A-Gou hesitated, the dragon spoke. At first I thought it was hallucination, but it was really his voice, similar to an old man's. He told A-Gou why he couldn't live with him. He didn't even know A-Gou. A-Gou spoke. He couldn't find a reason to do bad things, let alone the dragon. Just as A-Gou was thinking, the dragon spoke. Look at them carefully. A-Gou took a look. The four people were the same. But when the dragon roared, the four of them suddenly changed. The leading man in golden clothes had a fox tail, the man in white clothes had a pointed face, the red-clothed woman's mouth was very prominent and was black. The woman in green clothes had a snake tail on her feet, but she recovered to her original appearance at that moment. But A-Gou saw it very clearly. The dragon told A-Gou that they were all some fairies. When they caught him, they couldn't kill him, because they didn't practice enough, they were not worthy, they wanted to use A-Gou's hand to kill him. After hearing this, A-Gou also pondered, because he was not good at making choices. Just as he was thinking, Jin Yunan shouted Xiaojin, the voice was very loud. Xiaojin is A-Gou's nickname, and he woke up immediately. As soon as he woke up, he saw the head of the black dragon less than 3 steps away from him. A-Gou didn't know why the distance suddenly got so close. If he took one more step forward, the dragon could swallow him. With A-Gou's awakening, the black dragon's eyes widened, his mouth opened wide, and he stared at him. Jin Yunan saw A-Gou woke up and said to him, "Hurry up and do it, don't be confused by him. The animal has passed this time, we can't catch it, and we can't kill him anymore." A-Gou just looked at Jin Yunan and asked, "Why me? Why is it a dragon? You are not ordinary people, or even people, right? Why is it this time?" There was no time for A-Gou to think, and the four of them said in unison, "Hurry up and do it, the time has come, it's now." As soon as they finished speaking, the body of the black dragon moved, and the dragon head was closer to A-Gou. At that time, A-Gou subconsciously dodged and raised the knife to chop. The dragon spoke again, "Kill me, your fortune will be greatly damaged, the sky will be turbulent, how can you not think about it?" At that time, A-Gou thought very simply. If it was a good dragon, he definitely didn't want to swallow himself, so he chopped down without hesitation. The knife fell very quickly, and the water dragon head was as thick as a big tree. The four people looked at A-Gou and cut off the dragon head, and they were relieved and came to him. The man in golden clothes said, "You did a good job, if it wasn't for you, we would all be explained here." A-Gou said, "What if I failed? Will I die?" Surprisingly, he said with a smile that we would die, but you won't, but this animal will always haunt you, thinking that your chickens and dogs will not be peaceful. A-Gou looked at the man in golden clothes and asked if he could answer my question just now. The four people looked at each other, or the man in white spoke first, "It's really a dragon, and it's about to turn the sea. But this animal didn't practice well and made a mess everywhere. Many years ago, he caused the river to break the dike and killed his companions, and then ran away." "Were the companions also dragons?" A-Gou asked curiously, and at this time, the man in golden clothes took over and said, "Yes, you can watch the news or books. Speaking of that dragon and your elders, there is a fate, it can be said that your elders have seen it." Then A-Gou asked, "Then why did you choose me?" The golden man replied that this was an agreement, Your elders returned to heaven, and we found him again, and the dragon family agreed. But the dragon family is catching other rivers, so they dragged our 4 families to catch him, because your fortune is very special. Our Who family and your family have a lot of cooperation. Hearing this, A-Gou was stunned. What is cooperation? Cooperate to behead the dragon. The next answer made A-Gou feel confused again. Not the dragon, but the horse. But your parents want you to live an ordinary life to hide. Then A-Gou asked, what does the dragon mean by the fortune being greatly damaged and the sky being turbulent? The 4 people were silent. After a while, Jinyin sighed. Because you killed a dragon, although it is a merit, it is also a dragon that is more advanced than us and can affect the fortune, so your fortune will not be good for a period of time in the future. This is destined. We see your hand has your fortune, but on the contrary, the animal's fortune is also in your hands. You encounter disasters. Of course, you also help the dragon family, and they will repay you in the future. A-Gou asked again, then who are you? The 4 people laughed, and the man in golden clothes looked at A-Gou and said, you don't know the other 3, but you must know me, and said he turned into a big yellow dog, and this big yellow dog saw it on A-Gou's 7th birthday night. That day, A-Gou and his friends were playing in the ditch by the road. It was this big yellow dog that pulled him up. Just as A-Gou wanted to say something, he woke up. But the difference was that this time he was pressed on the bed and couldn't speak, but he could hear Jinyin's voice, which was more like a warning. This year's water and next year's fire. 2 years later take off the farmer's clothes and change into a python robe. These are the continuous dreams of A-Gou these days. As for why he remembers so clearly, it's because he took notes for the first time after waking up. As for these things, A-Gou can't distinguish between true and false. He also asked his parents about the Who family, but his parents just dodged, just telling A-Gou that a dream has passed. Don't think too much. I have to say, this share is really wonderful. One day, when I am old, I will string these wonderful stories together into a book. It must be very good. Well, see you next story.